welcome to the Marshaverse. This is a place in the rest of the universe where I come to make make sense.
From the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, it's midnight in the Marshaverse, starring Marsha Warfield and her two sons, Steven Roberts and Skillz Hudson, as the problem child.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Midnight in the Marshaverse, where we get together at that magic hour between yesterday, tomorrow, and it's right now today. This is that magic portal, where you can make things happen, make dreams come true. You can see into the future. That's right here. Anyway, that's enough philosophizing right now. We'll get to my comediosophy in a minute. Welcome again. You know how we do it if you've been here before. If you haven't, then I should welcome you to join me in some refreshments, any kind you like. I'm going to have some cannabis and cognac because I'm grown and I can do what I want to. It's legal and it's after, it ain't daytime. So join me if you want to. Have a cupcake if you don't. Don't have nothing. I don't care. You might like crackers and licorice. Different streaks for different freaks. What I'm going to start out with, this is a church battery. I kind of like this brand of battery. And on top is a locals only liquid diamonds cart. I have no idea what that means, but I like it. So let's get it on. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm old enough to know better. Stay. And to chase that, we're going to have this is not the official cognac of Black people, but it's like the official cognac of Black people under 40. Do say, we have a little bit of that in a tiny little tulip glass. Not too much. I'm not doing it out of the cup tonight. Because I will drink it out of a paper cup or a coffee mug. Cognac is cognac, but I like it in the tulip glass. They say you want the balloon glass to capture the aroma and the bouquet. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip. Here you go. All right, we are ready to get into this tonight. Tonight, I wanted to start, instead of just comediasifying, which I do, but I wanted to start with a new segment called What Did Ding Dong Donnie Do Today? Because his ass does something stupid every day. It's the only reason to turn on the news, to just see what he does. And then you turn it off because whatever they're going to say about it on the news is going to piss you off. So you might as well just find out what it is and go on about your day. Well, today, what he did was show up because most of the internet was hoping he would. There was this thing going around that nobody had seen him, and so he must be dead, and they're not telling us. No. If that happened, they'd tell us right away. He showed up, so that dashed all the people's hopes. But what the people did was finally figured out how to combat him, and that is unleash the women. See, the Republicans have become the daddy party. They are the patriarchal party. Part of being a white supremacist is to embrace the patriarchy, to believe that white men are ordained by God to run the world. Okay, and so that's the reason why Kamala lost. They will cheat. They will lie to keep power, to maintain the myth that they're supposed to run the world. And they invented their own gods. They painted them their color to sanction that and give them the power to run the world. And so they will go to some pretty deep lengths to maintain this. But patriarchy, just like a matriarchy or any other kind of thing that's not inclusive and doesn't respect all people, all life, is doomed to fail. The problem is it might take all of us with it. But if you understand what the fear is, if you want to maintain a patriarchy, you can't let women have any power. So everything you do has to diminish their power. And it can only go so far because women are God. I don't know how to put it to you any other way. This back here says the problem with the world is that men are in charge of it. Men are regal. Women are divine. Women give life. They are your creator. There is no reason to seek a higher power when you are born to your creator. It's silly. But anyway, so the Democrats have figured out that maybe using the power that women have so long repressed and been made to repress. Maybe they've been oppressed. If I was Jesse Jackson, we've been oppressed, we've been depressed, we've been repressed, we've had our clothes pressed, but all of this is true except we did the pressing. But to combat this patriarchal system, having women within the system to represent and in positions where they can use the power that they have harnessed. What we saw today after they interviewed the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Giselle, whatever her name is, they interviewed their victims and they came out hot. They came out hot. I'm going to show you a little clip so you can see what I'm talking about. But do we have that tape? From the tape.
But I want to be clear that what we heard today is a cover-up. And it is a cover-up of epic proportions, a cover-up involving the United States government, the justice system, rich and powerful individuals, a cover-up potentially involving foreign countries and foreign actors. And yes, here today in this House, as our colleagues are up in the House chamber in the Rules Committee, a cover-up by the Republicans in this chamber. Because as you will find out in the coming days and weeks, this goes all the way to the top. So let's be clear about that. There has been a systemic failure of the justice system for decades. A systemic failure to hold people who are powerful and have money to account, and that has allowed not just hundreds but potentially thousands of women, not only in the United States but around the world, to be bought, sold, and trafficked for sex, not only by Jeffrey Epstein but by his associates and his rich and powerful friends. And as these stories come forward, whether they're stories that have already been told, they're stories in those FBI files that have not been released by the Department of Justice and which they must release because of the subpoena, or whether they are stories of victims that have not yet come forward, we will hold you all accountable for this miscarriage of justice, for the abuse of these women and the abuse of this institution to try to cover it up. Because there happens to be a very powerful person at the top who doesn't want these stories out. So that is why we subpoenaed these records. That is why these victims were here today to bravely tell their stories. And whatever justice looks like in the coming days and weeks and years, we will follow every thread. We will follow every piece of evidence. We will follow every bank record. We will follow every investigation. We will follow every court order. And we will make sure that those who were abused by these men are held accountable.
Okay, my girl went off. I say wrap her up in bubble wrap and stuff because we're gonna need her to speak again. What's her name? Damn, Ayanna Presley. She spoke. She went off. I'm gonna put a link in the comments so you need to really take that in full. The power, and it's amazing that a lot of people don't understand that the power of a woman's voice, a power of that women wield, is not always loud. It's not always, it certainly doesn't have a lot of bottom in the voice, in most women's voice. But the power behind a mother's no sometimes is enough to stop the world. And so these women who are in the party, they have some say in this whole process. And they said, look, no, 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 no. See, y'all been fucking around. Y'all been tap dancing and shit, but we talk to the people that you and see you got to pay this piper. And it was beautiful to watch. And it might take forever, but when you look back in history, you're gonna see that that was a flashpoint uh, that set in motion the unraveling of the white supremacist patriarchy, because that's where we are. This is y'all, think it's what he's doing and it's some kind of game. No, we're at the crossroads, which is appropriate for this time. But we're at the crossroads where we have to make a decision which way we're going to go. Are we going to seek the embrace of a caring, loving, nurturing society that wants the best for all of its citizens, doesn't want people hoarding resources and finances at the expense of human lives? That's the choice. And once you see that, the choice becomes obvious. It's not because they're men, it's because they've established a system that negates the other half of life. And you hear a lot of people saying, what are we going to do? They're looking for leadership. They want somebody to do something. And so I've decided, since it hasn't been a whole lot of people, I'm going to do it. I'm going to save this world. I'm going to convert the entire world to the Church of Jesus, and I'm going to mother this country. And once this country understands that even though love is a four-letter word, it's a good four-letter word. And it's the one we have to put back into the conversation. And all of these people that don't mean we buy everybody a Coke and a smile. Some of these people you got to put in timeout. You got to send to their room, and some of them might, some of them belong in jail. Mama say bye. I'll call you when you call me when you get out. I'll be here, but you got to go because you fucked up. But when you understand the divinity of women women give life to birth, they create life. You are umbilically connected to your creator. And I read something online, and then I looked it up because I really wasn't sure whether it was a lie or not, because you never know what to believe online. And that's a whole nother thing we have to really pay attention to, the technocracy that wants to take over and take over thought and decision making. That's a whole nother kettle of fish. But so I was reading this thing online that scientists have discovered that mothers exchange cells with their fetuses, who exchange cells with them throughout their lives. They're feeding each other and nourishing each other, and these cells, they say, stay in their lives for the rest of their lives. Some were supposing, and this is new, so they're not really sure about exactly how long or whatever, but for a significant amount of time, these cells that they say have the capacity to heal each other, to as I said, nourish them, to sustain them. They exchange them throughout the gestation, and then when the child is born, the parent, the mother, and the child are still connected. They're connected on a level we're not encouraged to think and feel on. They're connected in a way that allows our touch to heal either way. This is a kind of magic. This is a kind of power. This is a kind of superpower we assign to God. And yet you can't respect a woman. You got to balance this world. And that's why I do midnight, because Black people liberated themselves and most of this country at night. We have this society that's built on 9 to 5 daytime. I got to hustle till it's dark. And then the day ends. But when you're not thinking like that, you understand that days don't end. They just become night, becomes day, and there's a cycle and a circle and rotation, and that's just the way it is. And until you understand the power of darkness, when you understand the power of night and how people, not just Black people, but all kind of people, would come together and harness their energies out of sight at night, and always pushing the society toward more moral, good, freedom, equality. That's the battle of good and evil. That's what we've been fighting. And so as we become more empowered as women, when you create a universe that's big enough to hold everybody's dreams, and you understand that religion is not just what's in the book, it's that exchange, that fetal exchange that has to exchange daddy's DNA too. So it creates a unit that's nuclear, that doesn't need any vows, anything. And it can do that with the same three people or two people or different people once a year. It doesn't matter. That connected humanity, we've forgotten how to embrace it. So I'm going to do everything I can. And one thing I do that puts me in that kind of mood, uh, where I believe there's something better. Not just better, it's just forgotten. That I believe there's something we've forgotten. We've gotten so individual and greedy. And well, we've forgotten there's a certain thing as enough. I wish enough for everybody. I don't wish wealth, but I wish enough for everybody to chill. What more you want? We want people to do and be who they are, enjoy their lives. And when I get in these kind of moods where I despair that these things ain't happening, you get more focused on what ain't happening, especially if you're online and stuff. That's all you see, and you forget that level where you elevate your thoughts above the petty squabbles that they are engineer for us. When I want to get in those moods and I don't see a way, I play some music. Immediately change your mood. It's an immediate elixir. It's not like you take a pill and wait 4 hours or whatever. You put on mood, it changes. Music changes your mood whether you like it or not. You can be in a bad mood and somebody put on some music that sounds like cat scratch cellos or some shit, and you mad to turn that shit off. But as soon as they put on something with that art, for me, something with that R&B heartbeat, oh shit. I'm mellow. I have entered into a whole nother way of thinking. And sometimes people, you must be high. Yeah, because I think that goes along with it. 'Cause we can just chill and be. And I wish that for everybody. I wish that everybody knew that. And my guest tonight is somebody who makes music. I started in this business when I was 20. Yeah. Moved to California 1976. I was 22. And I worked in Chicago first and then moved to Los Angeles. But I did a lot of work in the Bay Area. I went back and forth. I worked the punchlines. I went to San Francisco comedy competition. I was all over the Bay. And I never got to see this lady perform when I was there, or, any time I was there. But you couldn't help but be aware of them, of her, of what she was doing. And I just adore her. There's so much I want to talk to her about, and I'm so glad she stayed up late to hang out and talk to me. I hope you will give a big round of applause in your mind. My guest tonight, Miss Martha Wash. Hi, honey.
Hey,
I'm so glad you're here. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm listening to you and laughing and, and saying to myself, "Oh, honey, I've got a lot of wandering thoughts. I've had
Okay.
so many
Yeah.
wandering thoughts and
Then
things that
I've
I've been
done my job. I've done my job.
I said, "Oh my God, too bad that over the weekend we had to deal with a whole new week of because
Yeah.
the the what they were saying was not true." So anyway,
Anyway, so I got my first ladies of disco shirt on, and we're gonna get to
yeah.
that. But and I'm still talking. I ain't gave you a whole lot of room to talk. But when I was just getting back into business, you asked me to do your 10 minutes with Martha Wash show,
Yeah.
and the First Ladies of Disco magazine,
Yeah.
and you needed pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have no pictures. I ain't
Nope.
had no money for no pictures. I said I would love to do that, but I ain't got no pictures. I ain't got no money. And you said, all right. And you had paid for that photo shoot. And then that photo shoot became the one. I did another one with that same photographer. And we
Uh-huh.
created this whole panel of different looks that set me on
Mm.
the path that I've gone ever since. So I owe you so much more than gratitude, but I just wanted to give you that tonight before we get started with anything. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It was my pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. So, how, and we always start there, how do you get started in show business?
God. um, uh, Professionally, it was with Sylvester, but I had been doing stuff even before singing with him.
Did you
I had
really have
worked some jobs.
have your audition in a car?
Oh, that's true. All of that is true. Absolutely. Well, my audition was at a house in the basement of a house. He was holding auditions, and I got a call from a friend of mine, and she was saying that they were holding auditions at this address, and you may want to check it out because I had worked with her before singing background on some on her album. So I got the address, and it wasn't far from where I was working at UC Hospital in San Francisco. And went there, and come to find out it was for Sylvester. Now, to back up a little bit, I had seen him probably 2 years earlier. He was the opening act for Billy Preston at the Berkeley Community Theater. And I went to go see Billy because I was a huge Billy Preston. And so Sylvester was the opening act and came out, did his thing. And I don't think I even sat down for his show. I think I just stood up the whole time. And I was trying to, I said, who is this guy, to myself? Where did he come from? You know, and did his show. It was great. And I went on to enjoy Billy Preston, you know.
Who I
And
came for.
fast forward to, yeah, that's who I came for. And that was my first time seeing Billy Preston. But I'd always been a huge fan of his and had his albums. And so fast forward a couple of years later, I was standing in front of Sylvester, and I told him the whole story of how I had seen him. And he asked me to go on and, sing a song for him. And the guy, small world, the guy that was playing the keyboards for him at the time, he had just put in a band together. And this guy was on keyboards, and come to find out it was somebody that I had known. We grew up in church together. Knew him and his family. His father was a pastor, had a church, and all the whole thing. So he played for me, and I can't even remember what I sang. So anyway, at the time there were two blonde girls there that came in there to audition for him before me. They had finished, but they kind of stayed around, I guess. And after I finished, I went to the restroom. When I came back out, they were gone. And Sylvester and I talked and everything. And he said, do you have somebody else that you know that's as large as you are and that can sing? And I said, yeah. And I told Izora about it. And probably about, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 days later, he was going into the studio to do some songs, to lay tracks for some songs and stuff. And his other keyboard player, Peter Minton, lived in Sausalito. Sylvester had an orange Volkswagen Beetle. We got all up in, squeezed up in that Volkswagen Beetle, and went across the Golden Gate Bridge. And while we're crossing the bridge, we're singing songs on the radio and harmonizing and that whole thing. And that's how it progressed.
I see that movie. That's a movie right there. My goodness. And it's gone on to
Yep.
be iconic, you know. You could just quote lines from it and everybody's quoting back at you. So you at that time, right? At that time, what year was this?
You know what is the funniest thing? I don't remember the year. And it's the craziest thing. People say, well, when did you start singing with Sylvester? I can't tell you. I think it was around 70, roughly 76,
Right?
around
Okay.
75, 76. Yeah, I always have to backtrack to kind of get the years and stuff together. But from the time I started singing with him until he did the live album, the Living Proof album, that was a good 4 years. But it seemed like it was so much stuff that happened so quickly in that 4 years.
I know how you feel. I know
Yeah.
exactly how you. But at that time, and that was around the time I had in my mind. At that time, the nation was
Mhm.
in a thin at all costs. In fact, that's when we started finding out about anorexia and bulimia and all kinds of eating disorders,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
when they turned being thin not only into a fashion statement but an industry. Girls were them Jordache jeans and all that stuff with skinny little, and then with
Yeah.
black girls trying to stick all that butt in them little skinny jeans. People was
Yeah.
laying on the floor, pulling up the zippers, then walking around like this. And now here you are,
Yeah.
two women, beautiful women, come thrown into that world,
Yeah.
into that kind of world, and
Yeah.
having to navigate that.
Yeah.
It ended up working against you when they took your identity
Well,
away from you.
to a degree,
Yeah.
I would say that the name Two Tons of Fun, that was too, very tongue in cheek. But and that was kind of like to grab, the name and everything. But it's still kind of worked for us, because it would be one thing if we were artists, singers and all this other kind of stuff, and we couldn't sing. See, that's the thing. But we could,
Yes, you
you
could.
know.
Yes,
So,
you can.
so we just we just kept on going. We just
But
kept on going with it. Yeah.
but you freed so many women. That was a step toward free. I mean, see, you did so many things so cool that people don't really appreciate all you've done and stuff. And so I got to make sure that they understand who I'm talking to here. That was a moment that you opened up a whole different way of thinking and appreciating and seeing that yes, these women can sing, and yes, these women are beautiful, and yes, yeah, and that's
Yeah, it's
successful and
true.
works and everything too.
Well, I had to think about it and kind of go again, going back. When we came along in the mid to late 70s, there were no large women that you really saw. You may have saw them singing background, but to be out front, you really didn't see that. The only person at that time that you could possibly equate it to would be Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas group,
Mhm.
if people can go back that far. It came out in the 60s, But to be really out there in the kind of music that we were doing top 40 at the time. First started with him. But as we progressed and were recording and everything, you really didn't see large women that were out there
No.
so yeah, we were kind of
Yeah.
like first
Yes,
out there.
you made a difference. Yeah. And so now, how do y'all start singing disco? Which to me, and again, I'm this, I like a lot of stuff and I like to read about it, but I don't do none of it. So, but I hear a lot of big gospel influence, and
Yeah,
especially in the up tempo. They kind of the disco was kind of gospelized. Was that
sure.
intentional?
Well, it was just natural for us, people who sang in choirs and things like that. Um, I sang high. Sylvester, even though he had a high pitched voice, sometimes he would sing, most of the time, he sang the middle, and I would sing on top of him, and I would sing below him. So it was easy for us. And previously, Izor and I had sung together in a gospel group. So we knew each other well enough on how to sing together. All we did was just implement everything into singing background with Sylvester. We figured out how he sang, and we sang around him. And that's with knowing and having an ear, and also you sing in choirs or singing or singing a group, and you don't hear a particular note. Sometimes you wind up singing a whole nother different Lord, soprano, alto, tenor. If you soprano, sometimes you wind up singing the tenor part. It all depends. But if your ear is good enough, you can hit what needs to be hit, and you can sing what needs to be sung.
That brings me to another point. I think, and I've told you, I think, Luther Vandross liked to sing with women, and
Yeah.
he has sung with iconic women. There's some amazing duets.
Oh yeah.
But I who have nothing,
Yeah.
I who have
Yeah.
nothing, you can
Yeah.
throw all the rest of them away. I don't care who they are. I said it, and I ain't gonna take it back. That is the most amazing duet I've ever heard. The way you sing, it's love making. It's like, should I be listening to this? It's just like a vocal relationship. How
That's the way it should be.
how did
That's
y'all
the way it
get
should.
that comfortable with?
Funny enough, well, let me back all the way up. I got a call from Luther, very unexpectedly. His friend Fonzie Thornton, who I had worked with doing jingles over the years, and I guess they had talked, and Fonzie suggested me as a possible um, duet partner with him. And so Luther called me and left a message, and I'm saying to myself, well, why is he calling me? What does he want? I did. I couldn't imagine him calling me. So when I talked to him, he said, do you know the song I Who Have Nothing? And I said, yeah. I was always a big fan of that song when I first heard it as a teenager with Benny King. Always loved the song. He said, well, I'm doing it over and I want you to be my duet partner. And I said, okay, fine. You know, I'd love
Okay.
to. Yeah, I'd love to. So I went out to LA and went into the studio and listened to the song. Gorgeous arrangement and everything. And he told me where he kind of wanted my vocals and things. And I said, okay, cool. And went in the studio and did my vocals. And in some sections, we were in the studio at the same time, um, together recording. But I think the end result was just a gorgeous rendition of it. You
Yeah.
know, as
Yeah.
as only he could do.
Well, I mean, just the arrangement and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and the way because it's a totally different song. I mean, it sounds like a totally different song than the original.
Absolutely. That's
He,
that that
he
that's that baby making music. See.
Yes, he did something to he's like Marvin Gaye when he slow dragged the national anthem. I mean, you just did a whole
Yeah.
nother different thing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a whole different arrangement. But like I said, the music and everything, and when we were coming up listening to music, we thought we could hear,
Right.
really could hear. But now when you have earbuds in your ear and you can hear everything. I'm hearing 64th notes and all that I never
Yeah.
heard before. And
Yeah.
just the flow of two singers singing, that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, they should teach that in
Yeah.
school.
I
Us.
was really, really proud of what I did with that song and with him. And it's so funny because when people found out that I was doing a duet with Luther Vandross, people were saying, I wonder how that's gonna sound. Because people know my voice, they know his voice, but they were trying to figure out the combination of
Yeah.
both of our voices and how it was going to work. But
Well,
everybody that hears it loves it.
okay, you can't help it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just art. But that's what you do. And we can talk about how you stood up to the industry, and you say you didn't, but you changed the flipping industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and did it in a way that, not a lot of fanfare and bravado, or it just no, that's just not gonna work. How did it feel to be involved in it? And like I said, we come and smack up with where the image where we're selling this pretty little girl thing as the reality of a woman singing, and
Yeah.
this is mine. And coming up against that whole cultural thing in addition to the personal, how was that for you?
Um, it was hard in some respects, but at the end of the day, I had to stand up. I really had no other choice. In fact, I think it was a lot of the fans that pushed me to to really stand up. I had spoken to my attorney, and naturally they have to do the legal part of it. But in the end, if I hadn't stood up, then I'm not quite sure where I would be now, but I knew if I didn't, I would probably regret it.
Yeah,
I would probably regret it and would have just let it slide, but I couldn't.
you
I
couldn't.
couldn't
And
because it was getting too much attention and momentum, and the wrong things were being said that I said, no, I'm not going for that. And this is the deal. This is the real deal. Now, if you think I'm lying, put me up against the other and I'll
yeah,
show you.
hey, you didn't have to show nobody who knew who you were. But yes, and I could see why fans would push you. There's so
Well,
much we
well,
could talk
yeah, and it was also during it was also during the time of the Milli Vanilli scandal
right.
as well.
This was a
So
flashpoint now. This was a flashpoint in
yeah,
history and culture and music and
yeah,
women's rights and people's rights and technology. All it wrapped up it right there at your doorstep.
yeah, yeah. But I was able, as far as CNC Music Factory is concerned, we settled it, and I even went on to work with them again.
Okay.
So
All right. But now generations, we're not just talking about one generation of people owe you a debt of gratitude and they don't even know it. And they just that door got open and they flooded through it.
well,
And
yeah, I would
you
say,
empowered them.
well, yeah, I would say, along with my attorney, because he was the one that argued. He's the one that argued the case.
Yeah, but he was
But
your attorney. He didn't hire you. Okay. Now.
but he argued the case where it became law that anything, say for instance, artist A is going to work with artist B, but it's artist A, it's their project. Well, artist A has to make sure that artist B is credited, be it music, be it videos, whatever. They have to be prominently featured as well as artist A. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's identity theft in the
Well,
greatest
yeah,
sense of the word. They just took your whole personality and talent and gave it to somebody else. That don't
yeah,
make no
yeah.
sense. You can't stand for that.
And it's also called false advertising too.
Okay? There's a
Yeah.
whole lot wrong with it, but just one lady said no, made a difference. You bravo and thank you. Now, like I said, we can do this all night because as my shirt says, I am part of the First Lady's Disco show.
Yes,
I am
you are.
very
Yes,
proud
you are.
of that. And I wear my shirt proudly. And well, we're gonna be doing that again
Yep.
uh, in
In
November.
November. Yep.
At
November 16th.
that's right
November
at
16th at
Myron. At
Myron's at the Smith Center in Las Vegas.
And that show, I'm telling you, that show is not just for any particular age group. Anybody who can hear should come. But the rejuvenative power that you have, this fountain of youth these people come in, and some of them are like in walkers and whatnot, and they come in and they're like, "Where's my seat?" And then the show starts, and those same people are jumping. They up dancing. And they don't sit down
Yeah,
for the
it's
whole
fun.
show.
It
It's
is fun.
it's an
It's
amazing
fun.
experience, and so,
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna look forward to that, but I want you to meet my sons. They're, sitting back there going, "How long are we gonna have to listen? I wanna say something. I wanna say something." And so, I'm going to give them a chance. And first of all is my baby. I'm going to bring my baby son, my problem child, the one that was late. Steven has to, wait his turn. He
Is that
was late,
skills?
but
Is that skills?
is that skill? Of course, there's skills. And so say hello to my baby boy, Skillz Hudson. How you
Hey,
doing?
darling.
Hey,
How you
hey,
doing?
Demo, hey, I'm good.
Oh, you've been back there listening. All
Yes,
right.
and enjoying myself. Yes,
Did you learn anything?
yes, I did, and also it took me back where when I was a kid. My father, he was a DJ. He DJ'd a lot,
Mm,
and 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 to fast forward, like I didn't know exactly of you, your name and
mm,
everything, but
mm,
when I came the first time to with my to the show, the disco, when I heard your voice, I'm like, I know I don't heard that voice so many times. We was my dad when he used to play music back disco back then because he played a lot of for parties and stuff. And I
mm.
remember that, but it just reminded me so much of my childhood of hearing that type of music, and then just to hear the stories of you and this the duo with Luther
Izora.
Vandross.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
remember me being young and
Sylvester. Do you
and
know who
the love.
Sylvester was?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't know. I
We're
didn't
gonna
know.
have to
So
play you. I'm gonna have to sit you down, son, and we're gonna have to, to educate it a little bit. But we also have to bring out your brother, and who is
do
just
we?
sitting back there. Yes, we
Do we?
do.
They do.
They fight all the time. Anyway, he is the producer of this show. He's stand-up comic. He is also waiting patiently to ask you. He always asks burning questions. Please say
Burning
hello
questions,
to
huh?
Steven Roberts. Hi, honey.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, my dear.
Hello. I'm so happy to see you. It's
Well, thank
such
you,
an
darling.
honor
I'm
for you
happy
to
to
be on
see
this
you
show.
too.
Yeah,
You
it's
got
a.
you got a question for me?
I got
Now,
all
but
kinds of
first,
questions for you.
no, he has been at every show here in Vegas that I've been at.
Oh, okay.
He's been there and
Cool.
he has not sat down yet. Go for
Cool. Cool.
it.
Well, I would like to know. Well, first of all, I did not know that Paul Schaefer wrote "It's Raining Men." I did not know that. I went and looked it up.
Yeah. Paul
So,
Schaefer, Paul Jabara. Yep.
yeah, did you work with Paul on the Pauls on that show or on that song? Did you work with them on it?
I worked with Paul Jabara on it. I had not met Paul Schaefer yet. Um, the story about It's Raining Men is that Paul Jabara invited Izor and myself to his home for lunch in Los Angeles. We were down there doing some shows, and we went to his house for lunch. Had a nice had a nice lunch. We walked into his living room, and he had a fire engine red grand piano
Mm.
Wow.
in the living room. And he played It's Raining Men. And after it was finished, he said, I need you to record this song. And I kind of looked at Isaiah and I'm saying, huh?
Uh-uh.
He said, I want you to record this song. And I said, you got to be kidding. In my mind, I'm saying, nobody's going to buy this song. He kept saying, I need you to record this song. This was what he told us. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. But he said that he had approached Barbara Streisand, Diana Ross, Donna Summer, and Cher to record the song, and they all turned it down. Now, kind of sidebar right there. Can you imagine Barbara Streisand singing "It's Raining Men"?
Yes. Yes. In fact, as you were saying that, I'm like, let's
I
get
got a
them
no and I
people
got a
together.
yes.
Let's get them people together and do it now. What a great idea.
I couldn't imagine it at
No.
all. But anyway, no, he kept saying he was serious. He kept saying, I know this song is going to be a hit. And we laughed and everything, and we kind of acquiesced and said, okay, Paul, we'll go in the studio and we'll record it for you. So we went in maybe 2 days later and recorded the song at the studio. It was Larrabee's studio in LA, in about 90 minutes, and walked out and said, okay, see you later, Paul. We going on. Yeah, it's done. We going on, finish what we doing, and get back on the road, that kind of stuff. And he was the one who really, really promoted the song in the clubs. It was a hit in the clubs at least maybe 8 months before mainstream radio even heard of it.
Yeah.
But it was a hit in the clubs, because we were at one club in New York. It's closed down now, but it was a club called Heaven, and we were doing a show, and we had finished our show, and we were backstage, and Paul walks in, and he had the acetate of It's Raining Men under his arm. He says, I'm going to the DJ and see if he'll play the song. Well, that's exactly what he did. And the DJ played the song.
Okay.
And the kids went up, so it was like that kind of thing, and I guess you could say the rest is history.
Right. That's pure. That's what I think of when I think of what we do. All of the deals and the money and all that kind of stuff. That's nice. That's a whole different. But we've been doing this long before anybody paid us to do any of this stuff. Before we really knew it was a thing you could make a career out of. That you sing because you sing, and you tell jokes because you tell jokes, and
Right.
people respond because you tell jokes and you sing, and that's just pure. That's when it's pure. But like I said, I adore
Yeah.
you. I look forward to working with you. I'm so glad that you got a chance to meet my sons, and that we got a chance to fix the technical problems. We could talk about,
Yeah.
how did you do Dream On? Did you want to do
Ooh.
that song?
That was the right way that question was posed, because James, my manager, James Washington, he would say, you need to do a cover song. And I'm saying, yeah. You need to do a cover song. I said, okay, you find some, and I'll listen to them, and whether I like them or not, and we'll go from there. So he was the one that suggested Dream On. And I said, well, I've always liked the song. So, okay, let's do it, So I wanted to keep the integrity of the song, and do it kind of as close to Aerosmith as possible, but just my little trick there and stuff.
That's a whole different song. Sing it again. That's a whole different
But
song.
wait a minute. The funny thing, the funniest thing is, when people hear me sing that song in a show, they ask other people if I was the original singer of the song. I'm serious.
Okay,
I'm
so
serious.
you own that song. Talk about Luther Vandross. Luther take a song and he took people's songs from them. Somebody had and we're not talking about just anybody. He took Dionne Warwick's song. He took the Temptations song. He took the song that was his song. You took that song. That's your song. Because when I heard you, you were singing live at one of the disco, this show. And
One of the shows, yeah.
you ended the show, I think, with it. And I'm hearing it, and I'm like, and I think I know every song I've ever heard. I have this kind of catalog for music that I love. And I'm like, this song sounds familiar. Can't really
Yeah.
place. it don't really sound like what is it? And then is she singing Dream On? He said, yeah, what the fuck? And it was just got better and better and better. Like
No.
everything I hear you do. And I am so grateful I get to work with you. And you stayed up to meet my sons and hang out with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Okay. This has
too
been
funny.
so much fun, and I wish I had hours more because there's so much we could talk about. Because I want to answer them questions you said you had up at the top, but
Oh, honey. Oh, please. My brain, my brain, trust me. Yeah, baby, I got questions. And he know he's all up in the Epstein files. And
yeah,
I hope it brings down his ass real good. But they're gonna try and hold, honey, they're gonna hold that stuff for as long as possible. I keep saying to myself, is anybody gonna stand up and say, impeach?
they're
Impeach,
saying it. They're saying it. Oh,
impeach.
but you got to get his people to turn on him, and they are. And what from what these women said after interviewing the victims, I expect this to pick up steam and just unravel the whole ball of wax.
The
But
other thing,
anyway, huh?
go
Come
ahead.
on.
Go
No,
no,
you
go ahead. You go on. Honey, it's 4:15 in the morning here.
you all right?
You go on.
So I go on. All right. Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome to come back anytime. I look
I
forward
love
to
you.
seeing you November 16th at Myron's at the
Yep.
Smith Center here in Las Vegas. It's a tea dance, right?
Yep.
So
3 o'clock in the
starts at
afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon so you can get your groove on, get your funk off, and get home in time for Sunday dinner.
And
Anyway,
then go turn around and go to bed and then get up for Monday morning.
all refreshed and rejuvenated. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
And like I said, come back again anytime. We love it
I
up here.
love you, darling. And I will
All
see you later.
right. Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you. That was fun.
That was fun. She's fun.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
I like how
Anyway,
you talk about Skillz being your baby boy, and he comes on the show drinking what looks like a bottle of milk.
I doubt if it's milk.
That's what it
It's
What
looked
is
not
like,
it?
milk.
though.
It ain't milk. What is it?
It's
What is
called
it?
Uncle Arnie's Pineapple Punch, cannabis infused beverage.
Yeah. See, ain't nothing wholesome if it starts out Uncle Arnie's or some Uncle Bob's pecan punch or something. You know it's some moonshine or something in that. No, Uncle, because you don't want Uncle Tommy, feeding the kids. You have to watch with him. So anything to start with Uncle, be sure to put that in the back of the refrigerator. Okay.
Well,
Hmm?
it's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Happy
Yeah, it was my
birthday.
birthday.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
That was really
Steven.
sweet. Thank
Thank
you.
you. That was interesting.
Hey, Ma, you
Anyway,
think Marsha might
Can we-
let me sing back up?
no, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I just, I love you. Anyway, so
I have a question.
okay.
So, Black people,
Oh Lord.
when it's somebody's birthday, they sing "Happy Birthday" song by Stevie Wonder. Am I
Correct.
wrong?
No. Yes. No, you're not wrong. Yes, we do.
Yeah. And when did that start? Do you think right after he published that song?
Yes.
Black people just said, "That's our birthday song now."
Right. And
I
it
love
really
that.
doesn't really relate because he's specifically singing to Martin Luther King about his birthday. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
very clear in the lyrics. That's why nobody ever sings anything but the chorus. Happy
Right.
birthday to you. Then we don't sing nothing because
Okay.
after that is he's singing about Martin Luther King.
Right.
And we have a few other anthems too that they tried to come up with a couple of hip hop ones, in the past. Just a few people have their own little regional happy birthdays.
Like 50 Cent?
Does he have a happy birthday song?
It's your
Yeah.
birthday.
Uh, 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 That's how
Now
the
we
beat
know
go.
why we pay people like Martha Wash so much money.
I was harmonizing
With who?
myself.
You need two people to harmonize.
Two people to
Oh goodness.
harmonize.
What? You can harmonize by yourself.
All you need is other people to hear you harmonize.
You have musical theory knowledge that I'm not aware of. But that's all,
Hey, sometimes it
I don't
skip a
know.
generation.
Well, then it went right past you, didn't it? I love you so much. And either way, we have things that we should have gotten to, but we ain't gonna get to. I do want to tease a new feature that I'm working on that we're going to be presenting probably next week after next at the latest. I have a new mini series called Truth Hunter: Adventures of a Time Traveling Gym Team, and it's going to be a wonderful way to visit some amazing things in the past that kind of trace the untold and undertold history that we need to talk about in our quest to change the fucking world. So look forward to that. Truth Hunter: Adventures of a Time Traveling Gym Teacher.
My name is Truth Hunter, and I am about to change the world. Join me in my adventures of a time-traveling gym teacher. You'll never know where my dreams may take us.
And if you like what you see and want to see some more and watch us get better and better at what we do, we'd appreciate a like, a share, a couple of dollars wouldn't hurt. Just say you love us, and it really helps out. Tell some of your friends, maybe get together, have a watch party, little cannabis and cognac, get together and watch the show. Hey, y'all can do that. Wouldn't that be cool? Midnight in the Marshaverse watch party. Let's do that. Okay, so like I said, like, share, subscribe, show us a little love because we love you back. Now, if you want to see these young men do their thing, you need to know where they're going to be. And I want to say, and I don't say it often enough, I am very proud of both of you. And since I've known you, you just kept applying your trade, getting better and better, more comfortable, more relaxed and secure in your talent. You're beginning to see what I've always in you. So congratulations. Keep it going. Very, very proud of you. And I want everybody to know where they can see you too. Steven, where you going to be?
Well, I am now doing a little gig at Naked City Pizza / The Office Bar in the Paradise area of Las Vegas on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. It's called Trivia Night. It's a lot of fun. I got a bunch of drunk people just having a great time. So come join me there. And then I'll be at Puppetry of the Penis in October. And you can also find where my other dates are. I have a lot of impromptu dates, and you can see that on StevenRobertsComedian.com.
Okay. I look forward to that. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's a good way to spend an evening. So check him out. Skillz, Mr. Las Vegas. Where you
First of
going to be?
all, I'm gonna have to come check that out. Even though I'm horrible at trivia, I went to 2 places where I only was able to answer one question. I'm like, God damn, what did I learn growing up?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question. That's a sort of awareness, though. You have to give you credit for it, But so anyway,
but if you come, you get to eat pizza with me and Joseph.
There you go.
But as long as it's cheese pizza,
Yeah, with vegetables too.
Okay. Oh, they got veggies. Cool.
So you gonna be where?
So I'm gonna be.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me give it to you. Let me do it right. Give it to me. You just had your 2-year anniversary at your own show at Jimmy Kimmel. What was that night like? And tell us all about that show.
Oh man, I'm still honestly on a little high from that. Well, maybe it's this. But look, I felt great. I felt great because not only was it that, it was also I was celebrating with Christy being with her 2 years. So she was in town.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it was a great thing. And then when I did two shows that night, right? So we did two shows. So a lot of people that been coming to my shows over the weeks, over the year, the 2 years rather, they showed up and brought me mostly consumable, and that's what.
That's what
So
made it all worthwhile.
yes, and then I got two cakes. I got two cakes.
Wow.
Um, they posted out a lot of the comments from the shows over the 2 years, and they had it on the green room mirror when I came in. So
Aw.
it was a lot of nostalgic for those 2 years, and just to we go so much at this that sometimes you don't really get to celebrate like yourself or something complex uh, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Accomplishments, yes. Yes.
Accomplishments, yes.
Yes.
You don't get to really enjoy those. And I just like really realized, I'm from Chicago and I have a show on the strip in Vegas. And I
Huh.
really realized that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. All right. You should be proud of yourself, but don't break your arm patting yourself on the back. But like my mama always say, it's a poor dog can't wag his own tail. So it's okay for
Yes.
you to toot your horn. Go ahead. Sit your butt down. I will
You
toot
said wag
your
my own
horn
tail.
with yeah, I know. I got the joke. Skills. Where else you gonna be?
Thought I said it. Oh, okay. I'm gonna be oh no, you was asking me about okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be this Friday. I will be at Jimmy Kimmel's for my Red Sea 11:30 show those skills. Then Sunday and Monday I will be with Lunel at Jimmy Kimmel's for her Red Sea.
All right.
And
Well,
coming up in a
mhm.
couple of weeks, I'll be in Chicago, opening for Lunel at the City Winery.
Oh, how
Okay.
fun.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm proud of you both. Everybody go see them and then hit us back and tell us how much fun you had and how much you enjoyed them. Because we enjoy talking to you and hanging out with our friends. Take a little load off of your life and kind of get you ready for bed. In fact, this is a great show to watch in bed. Not because you're gonna be up till we get through and then you can go do what you're gonna do. Anyway, thank you so much for inviting us into your lives for a little bit, no matter where you are and when you do it. And we'll be back next week to do it all over again. Thank you and good night, Marsha.
She got away, no one can do it like that. Her own style, no one can wear that hat. Hey, don't you know that the queen is back? She's back, she's back. She withstands the test of time. When it comes to strength, she comes to mind. Knock her down, she gets back up again and again. I'm talking about Marsha. Marsha. You know you got it. You know you got it. No one can tell a joke like